it's my pleasure to ask Mr. Louis LaSalle to come up to the podium. Lou is Senior Vice President for Corporate External Affairs. Mr. LaSalle.
I'm not sure if that was a boo or a Lou. Angela, you took my remarks. You did. I'm only kidding you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I wanted to use a little personal note that just occurred when the rabbi talked about presence and things that we have in life. I was recalling something that my mom taught me many years ago, a different way, but it reflects something like this. The past is the past, and there's not much we can do about what's happened. The future is hope, inspiration, and the things we can do. But today is called the present. Many of you may know why it's called the present. It's a gift from God. Now think about that for just a minute. The rabbi was saying, in her way, the same thing. You are so inspirational to me, I want you to know. The cancer survivors in this room, their families, the doctors, the nurses, everybody who makes someone else better, I'm in awe. I'm just an administrator. And I, too, have those frailties about life, heart, cancer, all those things that occur. So forgive me for that one moment of personal part of it. But this is the 30th Annual Cancer Survivor Day celebration. I've only been with Saint Barnabas 27 years, but I remember visiting almost every single one of those because it was so special to me. I remember being in a tent on the parking lot next to the ambulatory care center. Many of you know that and have seen it. I don't know where it started, but all I can tell, the president of Saint Barnabas Medical Center is here today. Steve, please stand for a moment. Steven Zenowitz. The financial support, the administrative support for all of the things that we do comes from the leader, and the leader is the president and CEO. He reminded me today, I apologize, I thought it was less time, but he's here almost 3 years. I said, you're getting to be a real old-timer around here. He's done great things, the staff has carried it out. So I'm going to continue with what's on the agenda, and I apologize for these interruptions, but that's me. This day brings together our survivors and their loved ones and your St. Barnabas family. Cancer Survivors Day is celebrated throughout the world. It's a day to reflect on your journey, share your experiences with other survivors, and thank those who have supported you along the way. We hope this is a day filled with camaraderie, hope, laughter, joy, and inspiration. As I said, future, hope, inspiration. According to the National Cancer Survivors Day Foundation, a survivor is anyone living with a history of cancer from the moment of diagnosis throughout the remainder of their lives. Now think about that. National Cancer Survivor Day is the day each year we pause to honor the strength and courage of all of you. This celebration allows you to join our survivors. Join with your loved ones for a very special day together. We're very proud of our cancer program and the comprehensive services that we provide to all of you. We remain steadfast in our efforts to provide the highest quality and innovative cancer care in this region. Join me in acknowledging, and I ask that we do this in a very special way, in acknowledging our physicians here today. I'm going to ask each of them to stand. Hold your applause, but I'd like you to see them to remind you of the people that have done this. Starting with Dr. Allison Grand. Doctor, please stand. Hold your applause, please. Hold your applause. Dr. Michael Scapitulo. Michael. Dr. Raquel Wagner. I know all of you have special reasons. We want to give them what they really deserve when we do the final. Dr. Franz Smith, I don't see Dr. Smith, but we know of him. Dr. Russell Langen, a new person joining us, has been with us. He's not in the room, but he's here. He's here. Dr. Jennifer Wagmiller. Dr. Stuart Leitner, Stu. Dr. Miguel Condi. Oh, I heard that one. I don't know now. I'm going to take that one. Okay. Dr. Andrew Brown. Dr. Inya Litvak. And Dr. Weiss, am I correct? I wanted you to stand along with them. Please, please, if you would. And now, a round of applause for these people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are most proud to congratulate each and every one of you on your courage and your zest for life. Your determination and spirit continues to inspire us each and every day. Thank you for choosing Saint Barnabas Medical Center and allowing us to participate in your cancer care. Tomorrow, Saint Barnabas Medical Center will open a soaring 5-story, 241,000 square foot building. We're grateful to Leon and Toby Cooperman, whose $25 million gift provided the catalyst for the construction of the vast expansion. A thank you to them. The new pavilion will be called the Cooperman Family Pavilion. The Cooperman Pavilion will become the new point of entry for all patients and visitors to the medical center. The beautiful natural light infused in the building reflects evidence-based approaches to promote healing and improving care. The pavilion will encompass, starting tomorrow, a transition of 114 patients to the new building, each in a private room. There'll be an expansive effort on the NICU, the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. Each of the children will be moving into their own private room where the nursing, breastfeeding, where stay over, all those things can be accommodated. And by the way, we are one of the best in the country. I want that to know. Steve, thank you, you and your leadership. The inpatient oncology unit and many of the outpatient diagnostic services are such as pre-admission testing, same-day surgery, and the central registration area. So you can see some great things are happening at Saint Barnabas, and much deserved. I would like to ask something special. Cancer survivors, please stand. All cancer survivors, please stand. Hold your applause, just one moment, and remain standing, please. We also want to recognize your family and friends as their efforts as caregivers often go unacknowledged. Please, the caregivers, stand. Join the cancer survivors, all the cancer caregivers. Please stand. Now is the time to give the applause that we need and they deserve. Thank you. Please be seated. There's one other group that sort of goes unnoticed, but not unnoticed. We talked about it at our table. A friendly voice on the phone. Let me direct you. I'd like the staff from Saint Barnabas Medical Center that treat the cancer patients, please stand. We thank you all for partnering with Saint Barnabas Medical Center's cancer program and allowing us to care for you. It's truly an honor and a privilege. So on behalf of the entire health care team at Saint Barnabas Medical Center and the Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Healthcare System, we thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the special day. Thank you.
So I now have the pleasure of introducing Charlie Lustman. Charlie survived a 1 in 400 million diagnosed cancer of the upper jaw and lived to sing the tale. From the chemo chair back in 2007, Charlie wrote a collection of survivor songs detailing his journey from diagnosis, surgery, treatment, and beyond, with a vision to share these songs with everyone touched by cancer. Charlie has been on his Musical Hope campaign for over 9 years, singing for patients, family, friends, health professionals, and caregivers all over the world. Now please join me in looking at this short video.
Charlie Lustman spends his days at 35,000 feet. He's trekking through airports across the globe with his trusty psychedelic guitar. Performing on stage, stage being a relative term.
And right before my life turned 75.
This is a man who can't stop singing, even in elevators.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
It wasn't always this way.
I loved singing all my life, but I really didn't have the guts to do it full time.
Jaw cancer changed his outlook, but not his life. He's not holding back. His irreverent message of hope is, well, downright infectious.
Don't be mad at me, because baby, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain.
Charlie seems to strike the right chord wherever he goes, and no wonder he can intrude without being intrusive.
What are you doing here?
I came here to get nuked. What about you?
Me? I'm here singing songs.
You've been nuked.
Hey, Dr. O, he'll scan me quarterly.
This Pied Piper's message isn't only for cancer patients.
Anything's possible. Anything is possible. I just sang for you songs with a prosthetic jaw. So what's stopping you in your life, right?
Before this happened to me, I was stressed. My life in general was such a mess.
He calls it a mission of hope, because music, he says, speaks louder than words.
Not bad for a prosthetic jaw.
When it comes to cancer, Charlie believes an infusion of laughter is as essential as chemo.
That was awesome. I can lay in bed and have a concert here all to myself.
High five,
That was
baby.
great.
Yeah.
I loved it. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for allowing me to share.
Love it. No, you don't know how much this meant to me. I'm not kidding you. There's been a few bad days, and you came in, and something changed, so it's good.
And that's the kind of reaction Charlie Lustman lives for, and it's not hard to see why. I'm Jean Anderson, King 5 Health Link, linking you to better health.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Lustman.
I'm a cancer survivor! Woo! Stand up and dance with me. Come on, let's boogie. Let's dance. Let's show me what you got. All right. Woo! Come on, stand up and shake it a little bit. Shake it. Come on. Oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, yeah. Woo!
So we jumped into a limo on my 41st birthday.
Yeah. Woo! Oh, you're swinging. I like it.
And drove to Vegas to see friends who work in the Cirque
Okay. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Check her out. I love it.
Went into the studio.
Yeah.
Just write a little jam before my cue.
All right. Yeah.
I don't care what you're gonna do.
All right. Hey, it's not
Just as long as
it's not
you
too early to
keep me
shake it, right? I mean,
Don't
well, you had a little food. You're gonna work it off, right? Welcome, welcome. Yes, I am a cancer survivor. Whew. Of course, it didn't feel that way when I was diagnosed. It wasn't like, yay! I was in absolute shock. Well, actually, where I was at the time, I was in the recording studio singing a song in the recording booth. You know, they put you in that glass booth. And I was up on the mic singing this song about my son. His name is Shia. Shia means a gift. So this was the song I was singing. Are we good here? Let's see. Yeah. I don't hear it yet. Anybody hear that? Yeah, there it is. Shia la 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 la. Shia la 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 la. Shia la 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 la. Little man in my hands. All my plans are made for you. And the telephone rings. I kept my cell phone in my back pocket in the booth, and the engineer, who's on the other side of the glass, he's looking at me and thinking, how long have you been doing this professionally? You don't bring a cell phone into the booth when you're singing a song to make a record. But I was expecting the call, that's right, because I had a bump in my gum line a month before, a little bump in my gum line. Went to the dentist looked at it and said, I have no idea what that is. Sent me to the periodontist looked at it and said, I don't know what that is. Now, at that point, I started getting nervous because these guys don't know what that is. And he says, but if you were my son, I would cut that out and send it to a lab. And it comes back. I'm the lucky mega block, the mega winner. I'm supposed to have won a Mega Millions 3 times before you get an osteosarcoma in the upper maxillary, which is bone cancer in my upper jaw. Now, at the time, of course, people were telling me that I should move to Vegas right away. Because with those kind of odds, you're right, but I got the greatest payback of all time. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. Yes. But the funny story is that, again, when I'm in the booth and I'm on the phone, the engineer says, I put the phone down and the engineer says, are you okay? And I said, and it's, that famous line, I have cancer. And there was this long pause and he looks at me and says, does that mean the session's over? A true professional. I said, no, my life is over. I just thought that was the beginning of a very surreal journey. Those were the kind of comments and the kind of things where people just didn't know how to react to that, right? Next thing you know, I'm in a room and a Russian nurse, she was Russian because I remember her accent was very strong, and she went into a metal box that had a radiation symbol on it, and she took out a syringe and she said, I will inject you with the fluid. I was like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? She had like a metal suit on. I thought that was kind of strange. And she injected me with this fluid because they were going to run me through the machine that was going to see me from head to toe. I was going to glow. And so the first song I want to share with you is called Made Me Nuclear. Well, come on in, sit down, she said. Have you ever seen this bed? Well, no, it's really strange. It looks like a space-age dream. Well, don't be scared, it won't take long. And we can play your favorite songs. Just relax and close your eyes. Well, it sounded like a machine gun. It wasn't even close to fun. Had my arms above my head like they arrested me. And now it's time to take some more, cause the doctors need more to explore. Come this way inside my room. And they shot me, they made me nuclear. And they told me that it would make me glow. Oh, yes, they proudly radiated me, cause they want to save my bones. Now, what I think is really funny is when they offered me music. They gave me the headphones and said, what would you like to hear? I said, Mozart, and they said, okay. So they start, they put me through, and all of a sudden I'm hearing da 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 da. Isn't that crazy, right? I just love it. Okay, here we go. They took me down a hallway floor. It just looked like a psycho ward. Well, it was underneath the hospital like a bomb shelter. And there I was in a movie scene, right in front of a time machine. H.G. Wells would sure be proud, 'cause they shot me, they made me nuclear, and they told me that it would make me glow. Oh, oh, yes, they proudly, they radiated me, 'cause they want to save my bones. And they promised me when I got home that I wouldn't feel a thing they scanned, but I could light a light bulb in my hand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Woo! Yay, they nuked him. Woo-hoo! And that's the idea that I had in the chemo chair. I'm just going to go forward quickly for a moment and then I'll step back. But in the chemo chair, I had this idea to write these songs about surviving cancer as a way to survive cancer, a purpose, giving a purpose to this whole thing. And I called it Made Me Nuclear. And that was the title track of the song. And the idea is to share the songs in a way that's a little upbeat, kind of funny, kind of surreal, so I can kind of sneak in and share messages with you. Because if it was just music in a minor key, you know, you wouldn't even read, that doesn't work, right? So it has to be kind of upbeat and funny. So it's great because I sing a song about getting nuked and scanned and everyone's like, yay, you know? It works, cool, it works. Whew. So I go through all the emotions, as you all know. Of course, there's the denial right away, like this just can't be happening. And then I got angry. My wife is pregnant. I have a 3-year-old son. And I am doing really great in life. Things are great, you know? But this is what they call the hero's journey. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the hero's journey. Every great story, every myth, every legend kind of follows that journey where you're going on in life and everything's wonderful, and then all of a sudden, bam. And that's when the journey really begins. It really, truly begins at that point. And you have this awakening in a sense of, what is this all about, this life thing? Because now I'm facing that big picture. And so at that time, I was very upset, okay? So when I went to see the surgeon, who is going to saw off my jaw, that's what they had to do to save my life. The tumor was in my upper jaw. Luckily, it was isolated, so meaning that it hadn't jumped out as far as they could see and moved. I had a sarcoma. Sarcomas tend to move aggressively to the lungs. So they hadn't seen it in the lungs yet, so they said, it's isolated. All we have to do is cut out your jaw, and you can go back to your regular life. Your regular life. Okay. So there I am. I'm in the office with the surgeon, okay? No, he's not in there yet, actually. They had me wait. And while I'm in there, I'm looking at the wall with all the certificates. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's a state college. I don't know. I want Oxford. I want Yale. I want Harvard. You know? And he comes in and he looks like he's 17. And I'm like, no, this can't be happening to me. And he's like, you look very angry. I'm like, I'm kind of upset. He's like, I understand. I get it. And I'm like, really? You get it? Sure. How would you get it? And he said, can I just tell you a story? I'm like, okay, sure. And I sit down with my arms folded, tell me a story. You know? He says, look, about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with a very rare blood cancer. Now he got my attention right away. I was like, oh, yeah. And they told me that I should get my things in order because they didn't know what they could do for me. Now, I'm a scientist, Charlie. I'm a scientist. I look young, but I'm actually 49 years old. And I've been doing this a long time, and my peers are telling me that they have nothing for me. Charlie, I had to start believing in something bigger than me, bigger than what I could see. Now, I know this may sound a little funny coming from a surgeon, but this is not just a body journey. It's a mind, spirit, body journey. And I was like, wow, like the surgeon is telling me about spirit and mind. He said, look, one thing you got to do is get your head straight into a positive, some kind of I know it's hard to think about it this way, but you got to start to think positively as to what you can do with this somehow. And then your faith. Whatever it is you believe in, if you believe in God, whatever it is you believe in, start believing and start giving it up to a higher something. It helped me survive. Look at me now. 10 years later, I'm at the top of my game. I run the head and neck cancer department in one of the most prominent hospitals in Los Angeles. I looked at him, I'm like, I love you. Take my jaw, you know? Man, did he get me, right? Well, here's a little piece of the song I wrote about that, ready? Tell me, where am I to go now that I know I'm in trouble? Well, do you have a name of someone from the Bible? Someone you can trust with years of admiration? Well, there's not too many hands can do this operation. Tell me who. I want to know who is highly regarded. Tell me who. Tell me who will know where this started. Do you know Dr. O? They called him Dr. O. I thought it was like Dr. Oncology, but he wasn't an oncologist, he was a surgeon. His name was Dr. Osborne, but everybody in the hospital knew him as Dr. O. So there I am. I'm in pre-op, okay? And they lay me down, and they're like, just relax. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna put the mask over you. Just breathe in deeply, and you'll sleep, and when you wake up, you're gonna be fine. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So they put the mask on. I'm breathing in. I had not fallen asleep yet. I'm kind of a tough guy. And they rolled me in, and I saw the power saw on the table. Now that's just wrong, okay? It was like this. You know, I just got that one moment. And when I woke up, wow. There had never been a time in my life that I had felt that all control was taken away from me. Of course, first of all, my clothes, they were taken away from me, right? They give you a blue smock or something, right? And it was just that, you know, with the anesthesia and everything, you couldn't feel anything, and I was just laying there, and it was like that dream. I don't know if you've had that anxiety dream of like, where you're trying to run from something, but you're running in the same spot or something. Have you had that? That gentleman's like, oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I've had that one several times. And it was just the most out of control time of my life, except for one thing they gave me. The button. Oh, did I love that. That's all you gave me, and I used it. She's like, praise the Lord on that one. Right? Every 7 minutes, click. Click. Now look, they sawed my jaw off, okay? It kind of hurt a little bit. Give the poor guy a little bit of pain medicine, right? So yeah, it was my control. It was great. So there I am, I'm sitting in my bed in the room, and my wife, my pregnant wife, who was laying on a cot next to me the whole time, just unbelievable. My wife was just right there. She got up and she said, I'm gonna go downstairs and get some food. I'll be right back. And I'm like, sure. I was a little hazy from my last click, you know. And she goes downstairs, and all of a sudden the door opens up, and it's a nurse. And she's carrying a bucket in one hand and a sponge in the other, and I'm thinking, what? She kind of cleaned the toilets? And it didn't click with me, right? And she goes up to me and she says, excuse me, sir, would you care for a sponge bath? Now, I can't talk, but I can do this. So she comes in and she starts washing my body. And it was wonderful. I mean, it was fantastic. I thought, you haven't left me after all. Until the door flies open and there's my wife holding food. Now, you know, you women have this thing with the eyes. That woman packed up her stuff and left the room faster than any woman has ever left a room. And all I could do was grab for the button, you know, click. You know? Yeah, feeling out of control, that's the whole thing. Na 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 na. They read my pathology and they planned my maxilectomy for Monday. And I swear it was so bizarre when I opened up my eyes, I couldn't say anything to anyone, 'cause my jaw was closed from what they'd done. Thank God my wife was next to me, or I'd have gone quite mentally. Oh man, it's so surreal to me. We slept in an old hotel to be close to when they told us if they got it all. And I lived through the gardens like a movie star from 1949, thinking of my life and my children. Will I still be there for them? Thinking of my wife and my friends, and will I ever sing again? Oh man, it's so surreal to me. Ooh, the life we've got, 'cause one day you are in control, then suddenly you're not. Oh, na 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 na. So they took me back to lay back on the table with the fancy clothes they gave me. 'Cause they said the story, it wasn't over till the villain, he was gone. We had to wait again so patiently, and we held each other endlessly until they called us back to say they see the cells inside were cancer-free. Yes! Woo! Oh man, it's so surreal to me. Surreal to me, the life we've got. 'Cause one day you are in control, and then suddenly you're not. Oh, na 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 na. And the doctor said, I hope you're feeling better soon, so we can start your treatment right away. You see, we want to make sure, so we planned a year of chemo for your birthday. Now the world is a hotter place. They tell us it's a state of global warming. And they fight in the Middle East like they used to do 1,000 years ago. I see now everything so differently. I thought I knew where I would be, but something else from up above can take away the things we love. Oh man, it's so surreal to me, surreal to me, the life we've got. 'Cause one day you are in control, then suddenly you're not. Oh, one day you are in control, then suddenly. Thank you. Na 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 na. Thank you. Woohoo! Yay! They sawed up his jaw. Woo! Thank you. I love it. It's true. It's like, yay! Woo! Oh, wait a minute. What? What was that story? That's the idea. See, I got you in there, but what really happened to me? Double maxillectomy. Double. They didn't get it out on the first cut. You see, in bone, it has to decalcify before you can actually see the movement, the cellular movement. So it wasn't like some of those surgeries where they can cut away and then they're looking in the scope right there in the room to clear the margins. You know, those are the most beautiful words ever you can hear, to clear the margin. And they didn't. So 8 days later, they did the whole thing again. Wow, okay. And I go, all right, you got my attention. You know, hey, you know, a nervous breakdown would have been just fine. I would have heard you. What's with the double maxillectomy, right? And then, of course, the chemo. That was, first it was isolated. It was they called it a low-grade tumor, okay? At the time, now they actually have more categories for sarcomas than they did 10 years ago. But it was low-grade, high-grade, so it was a low-grade. But when they did the second cut and they looked under the microscope, the first cut and they looked under the microscope, and that's when they had to do the second cut, I had a high grade sarcoma. Man, I didn't even get high grades in school. Not now. Oh, man. Yeah, so he came and he told me, we have to start you on chemotherapy, adjuvant chemo, which is in case of chemo. Did I say that right? In case of chemo? Would you call it in case of adjuvant? My definition is in case of. Yeah, doctors gave me the thumbs up on that, in case of, yeah. So, which meant you had to have kind of a leap of faith about it, because it wasn't like, no, we're going to take the chemo to shrink the tumor, and then because that's what they do in sarcomas. I had a very strange situation because they had seen it being isolated in low grade, so they were just going to cut it out and go home. But because they saw the higher grade, they had to then, chemotherapy. But the thing was that usually they would give you chemo to shrink the tumor and then do the surgery. But that didn't happen. So he comes in and he says, we got to do this. We'll start you a week from Tuesday. Well, a week from Tuesday was my birthday. When I sang on your birthday, it's a true lyric. That's the, So I'm like, oh. I couldn't speak. I sounded like a seal from SeaWorld. People would throw fish at me. They're like, I'm like, oh. That's not funny, okay? It kind of is funny, you're right, it is funny. And he's like, what? And I'm like, took the paper, not on my birthday, to the doctor, because he's telling me I'm starting chemo on my birthday. He's like, well, sorry, yeah, we'll start you a week from Wednesday. I'm like, all right. But I'm going to share very honestly and very openly with you that I did not want to do chemotherapy. I didn't. The stigma around chemo is not positive. It's not a positive one. I mean, the stigma around the word cancer. You just mentioned the word cancer out on the street, and people are like, ooh, right? Because they don't know, because they don't understand. Look at us, we're survivors. Hello? Yes. Yes, and that's what I'm doing. That's what my whole project is about. That's what made me nuclear in the musical Hope campaign, which is a traveling campaign. I travel on hope, just like Obama did in 2008, Remember that picture of him with hope? Hey, it was an amazing campaign. It put that man in the office for 8 years, okay? For better or for worse, it works, because hope is what we all need. So I travel around the country on that premise. But at the time, I was like, chemo? Really? Really? I don't know what I am gonna do. They tell me things I can't believe it's true. That if I want a better chance to live, I've got to follow the advice they give. They say the situation can be dire. This may have spread just like a forest fire. 22 rounds of chemotherapy. That is the answer that they have for me. Is it the only way? The only way to stop that cell inside that can threaten me, so I can be there for my family. Well, I heard about a place in Mexico. You heard about that place? Yeah? Hey, they can alter you from head to toe. And people have been going there since the 70s. But nothing comes with any guarantees. Is it the only way? The only way to stop those cells inside that threaten me, so I can be there for my family. Why not try extracts from the Amazon? Shots of wheatgrass till the thread is gone, and search for healers down in India. Find the antidote from a tribe in Africa. The doctor says you've got no time to lose. The day has come for me, and I must choose. 22 rounds of chemotherapy. If that's what the scientists have found to be the only way to win the battle that's inside of me, then I will do this for my family. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, so let me tell you the turning point for me. The turning point. Now, of course, I go in, I start my chemo, and, they stuck a tube into my arms for the drugs they were dealing. And I watched a bottle drip like a leak from the ceiling. The tick-tock from the hanging clock hung around for hours till the last drop. It's my little rap, okay? Got my chemo rap. It all turned around for me when my sister, who I hadn't spoken to for a long time, it's amazing how things can have some closure when someone's facing death. My sister came, I'm so sorry, I was so mean to you for so long. I'm like, finally. Down. Kiss my pinky ring. No. But it was kind of like that a little bit, kind of like that. I used it, I have to admit. Others ran. Close friends did not know how to deal with it. They split, but that's okay. They came back later. They're like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, kiss my pinky ring. No. Well, I was just having fun with it a little bit, kind of, now I forgot where I was. Where was I? My sister, thank you. So my sister gave me this book. My sister gave me, and by the way, that was chemo brain. That was a chemo brain thing I had there. Yeah, you believe that, right? 10 years later? I do. My wife doesn't, but I still use it. So she gives me a book called, and I'm going to promote it because I promote it all the time, Getting Well Again. Okay? Getting Well Again. It's by O. Carl Simonton. He passed away about 3 years ago. He had this concept. Unbelievable. He was a radiologist in the 60s. He had 2 patients who were identical in every way possible, except, of course, they were different human beings. But they were going through the same thing, same prognosis, same diagnosis, same prognosis, same everything. It was just incredible. But one man was extremely negative, and the other man was extremely positive. And he watched these 2 go through the journey, and the very negative man actually passes away way before he was even supposed to go. And the positive person defied the odds, went on to live his life, recovered, and so forth. So he thought, there's got to be something here. There's got to be something here. And he devoted the next 40 years of his life researching, writing books, and going around the world to share this concept of a positive mind can turn the entire thing around. There you go. Yes, thank you. Yes. Now, there's no guarantees, okay? There's nothing like, if you have a positive mind, look, I almost got hit by a bus yesterday, okay? Just walking out of the door, it's like, wow. There's no guarantees in this life thing. But you could help yourself along, feel a lot better, and create some possibilities that would never have happened if you didn't think in a positive way. So my sister gave me the book. I read the book, and it turns out he's coming to Montecito, California, which was outside of LA, about an hour and a half, near Santa Barbara, to this old monastery. He's going to do this seminar. And 25 of us, 25 cancer survivors who were told, there's nothing we can do for you. You've got so much time to live. We don't know. They all showed up. And we had this amazing 5 days that just turned everything around for me. I mean, the exercises, the things the man was doing. I mean, I'm going to give you one that's kind of more, you would think it's morbid and kind of freaky, but it's incredible. He's like, write your death. Huh? Write your death. What do you mean? Write what it looks like. You take control and you write an essay about when you die, how you die, where you are, who you're with. I was like, really? Okay, I'm 88. I'm in a beautiful estate property. You know, I thought of Charlie Chaplin. I don't know if anybody knew, in the end of his days, he lived in Switzerland, a big property. There's this picture of him on the grass. He's in a wheelchair, and his whole family's around him. And I thought, that's me. I like that. You know, and I wrote the whole thing out, and I felt empowered. You know, later on, my wife was like, really, 88, honey? I don't want, well, what if you can live longer? I'm like, well, I can always rewrite the book, you know, right? I can rewrite it. Right now, I'm liking my 88, because 8's my number. I was born on the 8th. I like 88 anyways. So it was very empowering. The stuff was so empowering that after 5 days, I went back to my support group, and they kicked me out for being too supportive. It's true. I'm not kidding. The therapist was like, I think you're good to go. You need to leave. Because everybody was complaining, and I was like, but if you look at it this way, and if you look at it that way, and they're like, get out of here, you know. I had gone through you know, you need to go through the process of venting and getting it out. Do not. So I learned, and I'm gonna save you $3,000 on the seminar right now, all right? Here it is, $3,000. Flip it. Flip it. So what does that look like? You're feeling down, you're afraid, you're upset. All these feelings are coming to you. The key is feel them. You have to allow yourself to feel your real feelings. You know, someone comes up to you, you gotta be positive. It's like, I will be, but right now I'm in this place, and I need my space to feel that. And that's okay. And you can tell them, I'm okay. I'm allowing myself to feel, okay? Now, when you get tired of that, you are exhausted from feeling that way. That's when you flip it. Now, you just have to be conscious of the fact that you're actually tired of it. That's the key moment, is like, wait a minute, this is the moment. I'm tired of it, and I want to flip it. What's the flip? The flip is simple. Look at the polar opposite of what it is you are upset about. Let's be extreme. I'm afraid to die. I'm afraid of death. Well, what's the polar opposite? Living like you've never lived it before. I mean, you're going to Hawaii, man. Maui Wowie, Mai Tais, palm trees, and you see it in your mind like a movie, no still photography. No image. I want real time. We're so much into the video thing now, right? I mean, everything is, pictures in the paper don't even get us going anymore. We got to go check in on YouTube and all that stuff. See it as a movie. See yourself there. It only takes 5 minutes. You just sit back and there I am. Skip the flight. Skip the luggage, okay? Just go right to the tree in the Mai Tai. You are going to automatically, your body starts to change. You know this, Angela. You know it. That's the power of the flip and the power of the mind. So I come into my next chemo, and my friend made me a shirt that said Chemo Man, and I got a cape, and I ran in, and I'm like, Chemo Man! The nurses are like, oh God, how much more time is he here? Of course, after an 8-hour infusion, I walk out like, Chemo Man, and take the cape, and Chemo Man, But I had all the side effects gone. I got them all. You know why I got them all in the first place, right? Because you guys gave me the cards. The ones that said every single thing I could possibly get from this chemo. I had 4 cocktail chemo. I read all 4 cocktail cards. I got all 27 side effects. I'm like, I'm not reading these anymore. I read them, I'm done, Because again, I started to have a different way of looking at this whole thing. I had methotrexate. It's very, very, very orange. She brings it in, she checks my armband, and I look at her and I'm like, take that back. Excuse me? I said, you can take that back. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, I only drink fresh squeezed. She was like, oh, that's funny. I'm like, yes, it is. I'm having a good time. Adriamycin, very red stuff, right? Next time you come in for your adriamycin, you tell her, you don't drink Merlot. Bring me a Cabernet. What's happening is that everybody's starting to have a good time. And it's still chemo. It's still the same thing. everything's happening the same protocol, but you're not happening the same protocol. You're starting to have fun. And maybe in that, you might even find some kind of a purpose in all of this stuff. Look what happened to me, you guys. They sawed my jaw off and gave me a year of chemo, and in the chemo chair, I wrote songs about surviving cancer, and here I am 9 years later, singing these songs for you. Anything is possible. Yes. Don't make me take out my jaw for you. I'm glad it was on the video, otherwise I'm taking it out. I warned my kids, I'm gonna take out my jaw and throw it at you if you don't behave. They're like, no, Daddy, no. Horrible child abuse, horrible, horrible. And guess what? My favorite holiday's coming, Halloween. Come to my house. They're like, Mommy. They don't even want the candy. My wife hates it. I do the whole jaw thing, music, fog. Like, So, excuse me. So, I think I might need a water or something. Got a water for me? That Halloween joke got me. There you go. It's actually not a joke. I do it every year. So what I do is I go to hospitals. I spend an entire day at the hospital. I'm the musical Patch Adams of America. You guys soon, hopefully you might hear about it. We're going for some national PR because I'm going across America in 2008 in an RV, painted like this. The Musical Hope RV campaign, yeah. It's going to be fun. It's a crazy thing, but we're going for it. And it's going to be from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, and we're going to do this thing. And I go into the hospitals, and I go into the infusion centers, and I'm like, well, baby, it's not strange the things I do. For a guy who's had a dose or two. Well, sorry, I forgot the chicken cooking on the range, and I almost burned the kitchen down if you had not come back from town. Well, it's chemo brain, don't be mad at me, 'cause baby, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain. Yes, the doctor warned us of this state, and it happens to the best of us, they say. So come on, honey, please be patient. You know it's not my fault. And I feel like such a fool forgetting to pick up the kids from school. Oops. Chemo brain, oh, don't be mad at me. 'Cause baby, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain. It makes you do things that you would not have done at all. It's such a good excuse to use. I still use it. Oh, yeah. But then my wife, like 5 years ago, she brings me a New York Times article. She's like, look. I'm like, what? She's like, read. It says chemo brain, 5 years. I'm like, no! I called up the New York Times reporter. I'm like, I'm after you, man. You know? Well, yes, I'd like the lobster life from Maine. Caviar and Dom Perignon champagne. Well, it must have been the finest meal that I ever had. And I left as happy as a pill, but I forgot to pay the bill. Oops. Chemo brain, oh, don't be sore at me, 'cause judge, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain. It makes you do things that you would not have done at all. Such a good excuse, it's chemo brain. Chemo brain. Oh, don't be sore at me, 'cause darling, can't you see I'm not the same? It's chemo brain. Yeah. All the people in the infusion center, they stand up, they grab their bags, they're like, chemo brain, chemo brain. The nurses are like, no, don't do that. And I turn that place upside down like it's a bar. You know, well, they're all drinking, right? And that's the idea of the campaign. That's the idea, to turn it all upside down and make everybody have a good time. It's for the nurses, it's for the doctors, it's for everybody, because we're all on this journey together. So I remember I think I was in St. Louis at the time, and I came into a young man's room. He was 17 years old, 17, 18 years old. He was on one side of the room. He was hooked up to the chemo bottle. His two friends were on the other side of the room, and they're all on their iPads, iPhones, whatevers, just like tick, 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 tick. And there was a very down vibe going on in that room. You know, and I walk in, I'm like, hey. They're like, hey. I'm like, how about a song? And they look at each other like, really? Do we have to sit through that? Like, who let him in? And, you know, I actually heard the guy said, who let him into the building? You know, I was unaffected, because my job is to bring my energy in there. You know what I mean? I'm going to bring you the energy. And I said, well, look, how about a recovery song? And the young man looks at me and says, this is my first day of chemo. I said, well, good, because then you need to see what recovery looks like. And I just broke into song. I finished what they said I had to do right before my life turned 42. They said that I was clean, clear to, by the way, you can move a little if you want, okay? You're all like, back to the outside world I used to know, but I can't go back to what I was, 'cause I'm somebody new. Before this happened to me, I was stressed. My life in general was such a mess. But I kept doing things that made me fall, yeah, until the day that I received that call. Now I can't go back to what I've done, 'cause I'm somebody new. That was like Elvis, right? Somebody new. 'Cause after everything we've been through, we see New Jersey from a different view. And we're riding, we're sliding home to you as somebody new. It's funny what a lot of pain can give, a whole new meaning to the life we live. I appreciate the life I've got. I plan to live it and to love a lot, so I can't go back and be an ungrateful man, because I'm somebody new. Oh, because after everything that we've been through, we see this planet from a different view, and we're riding, we're colliding home to you as somebody new. Now Dr. O, he'll scan me quarterly until he's sure that I am cancer-free. Yes, I'll go back to your hospital and I'll wait in line so you can nuke my body one more time. But I can't complain of what you've done to me, because we're still around and we got some extra time to be somebody new. Yes, I'm brand new. We're somebody new. Yeah. Woo! Oh, you should have seen those two boys. They slid over to their friend. They're like, do. They're like with the iPhones, you know, shooting the whole thing, right? And I walk out, just like walking out of the room. They're like, that guy was nuts. I know. Mission accomplished. That's the idea. That's my recovery song. I want to say thank you, first of all, second of all, third of all, and most of all, to all of you for coming out today. It's really cool. Angela, thank you for putting this thing together and bringing me in. Woo! Thank you. I don't remember how you heard from somewhere, somehow, through the grapevine that I was doing this thing, right?
9 years ago at the conference, or 8 years
Oh, at the ONS. Oh, she met me at the ONS, which is the Oncology Nursing Society Congress, which was like 5,000 nurses. My wife's like, you are so not going. I heard there's like 98% female at that thing. They're nurses. You are not. I'm like, honey, it's a job. You know? It was like a big sorority weekend. It was great. You know, they get together from all over the country and share their ideas. You know, the oncology nurses, they're our heroes. They're heroes. Are you in here? Are there some oncology nurses in here? Raise your hand. Yes. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I mean that. Thank you. Anywhere else? Anybody else out there? Did I see a hand over there? Okay. There, I saw one over there. Don't be shy now. Thank you. Thank you. Because day in and day out in the trenches with us, you know? It's like a big thing. It's a big thing. So thank you for remembering me after 9 years. Like, oh, that crazy guy who sang at the ONS. Yeah, let's bring him in, right? I love it. Thank you. And all the volunteers for today and the venue and all you fine people serving us, thank you. And I just want to say thank you to the community. You know, this is what it's all about. I mean, a lot of times, you know, we forget because we're so busy in our lives, you know, doing what we do, achieving what we achieve. But at the end of the day, it's all about who we love. It's all about our families and our friends and community. So thank you all for coming together for this today. Thank you. How do I thank you for all that you've given to me? So grateful to be. How do I show you my gratitude towards you for standing by me in my time of need? Just a simple song is all I know. What I have to sing for you today, and I hope that's okay. 'Cause I need to thank you, the doctors and nurses who helped me get through this, from down on my knees and back on my feet. And all of my family, friends who were there for me. Yes, it was scary, the scene was, I know, but they held me close. And a simple song is all I know, and what I have to play for you today, and I hope that's okay. Yes, I hope that's okay. And you know I will be there when you need me to, 'cause all that we have in the end is each other, my friend. So I need to tell her how deeply I love her, for she lived the words that she said on the day that we wed. And these simple songs are all I know, and what I have to give to you today, and I hope it's okay. Yes, I hope it's okay. Yes, I hope that's okay. Thank you. All right, we're gonna close it up. You know, I gotta lift you up now. You know, I got emotional on you guys. Here's my theme song, okay? It's called Do What You Love. Now, the idea is to do as much as you can each day to do what you love to do. If you can't do what you love to do for part of the day, you better do what you love to do for the other part of the day, okay? And don't complain about the part of the day that wasn't what you got to do that you love to do. Did that make sense? Just do what you love, all right? And there's CDs on the tables. That's the whole journey in song, okay, produced, okay? The whole thing's there. You can share it with everyone and anyone you want to. You could copy it in your computers. I am the record company. I'm the anti-record company record company. I say share it with everyone because we're trying to get a message of hope out there. So please, it's my gift to you, and it's a gift from the hospital to you guys, okay? So do what you love. Oh, and I'll be out there if you want me to sign your arm, okay? Or, like the old days in the concerts, we used to sign, body parts. And I'll give you some hugs out there if you want a hug from me. Well, do what you love what you do, love all you can. I'm waiting for you. Oh, you thought you were safe, huh? Do what you love, there's no other way. And don't be afraid, just take every day. Do what you love, 'cause life, it's such a big surprise. You never know what lies right up ahead. Make your plans, but don't forget, no, to do what you love. Hi, love what you do. Hey, don't look at the monitor, I'm right here. Love all you can, I waited for you. To do what you love, there's no other way. And don't be afraid, just take every day and do what you love. So don't wait for the lights to change or something strange to happen to us all. 'Cause this is the time to take control and do what you love. You gotta love what you do, love all you can. I'm waiting for you to do what you love. There's no other way. Oh, and don't be afraid. Just take every day and do what you love. Oh, I know we've got so many bills to pay, right? And debts to weigh us down for the rest of our lives. Hey, why not pay them doing the things we love? The things we love. Do what you love. Love what you do. Love all you can. I'm waiting for you to do what you love. There's no other way. And don't be afraid. Just take every day and do what you love. So don't wait for the lights to change or something strange to happen to us all. This is a time to take control. Oh, you thought you were safe back here, didn't you? Oh, and do what you love, love what you do, love all you can. I'm waiting for you to do what you love. There's no other way. And don't be afraid, just take every day and do what you love. You hear me? Do what you love. Do what you love. Oh, do what you love and love what you do. Do what you love. I'm waiting for you to do what you love. There's no other way. And don't be afraid. Just take every day and do what you love. Do what you love. Ready? And do what you love. Thank you! Woo! Cancer survivor! Woo! Woo!
So please don't run out of the room yet. There are the CDs on the tables. If you need more, see the staff out in the lobby. Charlie's going to be at a table signing the CDs and giving hugs, so please stay a few more minutes. We want to do our closing. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Allison Grand, Chairwoman of Radiation Oncology.
Thank you, everybody. On behalf of the Saint Barnabas Medical Center and the entire cancer program, we would like to thank you for attending this year's Cancer Survivors Day. Look around the room. The number of you in attendance is a tribute to your hope, courage, and determination. We would like to thank Charlie Lustman for joining us today. I know you would all agree that Charlie is a very special person. We wish him luck on his tour and truly look forward to listening to his CD. We wish you continued blessings and success. Joining me in a round of applause for him right now. We hope that each of you leave the program today with a renewed sense of hope and determination. Please join me in thanking Angela McCabe. Each year, Angela takes this challenge of making this event meaningful and enjoyable, and she did it again. So thank you so much. We would like to acknowledge and thank Mr. Steven Zinowitz for his vision, commitment, and support in supporting all of our efforts to provide the best cancer care in the state of New Jersey. We thank him for supporting this annual event. Please join me in a round of applause for the Mayfair Farms team, Richard, Siobhan, Joanne, and Steve, and all the wait staff. We thank them for providing their meal and taking such good care of us today. Also, a special thanks to Jerry LaGuardia, Greg, Tim, and Steve, who we rely on for their AV support and expertise. On the table, you're going to find registration and evaluation forms. Please give us your feedback. Our staff will collect them in the back of the room when you leave. And in closing, I know you're all wondering who's going to get to take home the centerpieces. Congratulations to the person whose birthday's last. Those centerpieces go to you to take home today. And thank you for spending the special time with us. Travel home safely.